Welcome back to Pouur Decisions, and I am so excited. I am with John Lahoski, and his businesses, he has a couple of different businesses, really interesting. Peninsula Hardwoods and Terry Lumber.
Correct.
So it's really exciting how the two like kind of merge together. And what made you open up this type of business? How did you get started?
Sure. Actually, my grandfather started the business in 1940. So we've been around a little bit. He started Terry Lumber, and he actually started it because there was another little small lumber yard in Peninsula at the time.
Okay.
He worked. So he went to his boss and asked him for a raise. And the boss told him, no, I'm not giving you a raise.
Oh.
So he said, fine, I'm going to start my own business. And here we are 85 years later.
Gosh, good for him.
Yeah, so he was...
Wow. How old was he at the time?
Oh, geez, it was 1940, so he was probably in his, I think, late 20s when he started.
That's bold, you
yeah,
know.
Yeah, and so, not long after that, World War II started, and he was smart and he was ahead of his time. He figured out to get government contracts to build crates.
Oh, no way.
So he always had a constant supply of lumber, and during that time, everything was rationed. So he was able to have continuous supply of lumber for not only the war effort, but for his customers. So
oh my gosh.
he was innovative in that way, and he loved to sell. He didn't care about receivables or payables, but that's what he did. Just loved to sell. And then our location has changed over the years. It used to be by Boston Mills Ski Resort.
Okay, yes.
And his property was acquired by the national park. And so he had to relocate. So he was able to relocate to Peninsula.
Not far.
No, it was only about a mile away from him.
Okay.
And he was able to acquire a millwork manufacturing company, which was called Davidson McNair, which became Peninsula Hardwoods. And this was 1981. So he had my dad and my uncle then running that business, and my dad ran both companies until his passing in 2005. And my brother and I have both been in the business. I've been in the business full-time since 1999, but I grew up in the business. I think I started when I was 13.
I'm sure. What were you doing in business?
I started off in hardware. I was putting hardware away. And, as a young kid, sometimes you're not really driven to work. And I can remember my dad say, come on, you're going to work. And I didn't really have an option, but it's worked out.
Yes.
So yeah, we're going strong, and both companies have enjoyed success over the years. We've had our ups and downs. That's for sure.
Of course. Yeah.
Always a challenge. Always something in business.
Right. It's a roller coaster ride that as entrepreneurs we love.
Yes, for some odd reason.
I know, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I want to go back to when you were 13 working in the business. Did you know at that time that you wanted to stay in the business, or was it just like, oh, my dad's making me do this, I guess I'll just do it?
No, I always wanted to be in the business. And so much, I even went to college, and I didn't really have to go to college, but my parents were like, you should really do this. You never know what could happen, which I did. And it was funny because even friends in college were like, why are you even going to school if you're going to go work in the family business?
Right.
But I'm glad I did. And so it was always kind of like something that I wanted to pursue. And I'm fortunate. I work with my brother who runs the businesses with me, and we have a good working relationship. Yeah. Sometimes in family businesses you have difficulties, to say the least.
Goodness, yes,
right.
Yes.
So I'm very blessed and fortunate that we're able to work together well. Yeah. And we have a fourth generation coming into the business now. My brother's son is in the business now.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, so it's exciting.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Okay, so did you know, was there a certain area that you loved about the business, or did you just like the business itself, like what you guys were providing to clients?
I think just overall, I liked what we did.
Okay.
We're very strong in the community as far as we're known in the community, and we support our local community as best we can.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of it. I think I may have said we had a flood in 2003, and we were worried about even staying in business because insurance didn't cover anything because we weren't we're not susceptible to floods.
Right. So you probably didn't have that as a clause in your. Oh my gosh. Right.
So we were able. We just started cleaning, and we had 70 volunteers from the community come and help us, and they were here like employees, working like full days, helping us clean mud and dirt and lumber and everything, and it was amazing. And that's something you can never repay back to people, but you always remember. And you try to remember to reciprocate that and help those people out down the road. So
was it there's not a creek or a lake or anything?
There is a creek that runs perpendicular to our property, and the Cauga River sits off to the side too, but the creek is what actually flooded. And we had parts of our property, we had as deep as 8 feet. In our store here, we had about 12 inches. Yeah, we had 12 inches of water. The water wasn't bad; it was the mud that was left behind afterwards. So that was a challenge, and we coined it. Flood mud is what we called it. So whenever we clean something, sometimes we'll still, 20 some years later, still find.
Are you serious?
Remnants of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty substantial flood.
Yes.
Yeah, that I can only imagine.
So fortunately, we were able to get SBA loans for disaster relief.
Oh, so good. Okay,
that helped us get us back on our feet. Yeah. They're low interest rate loans, which is beneficial. I mean, we're still paying them now, but it's such a small rate that it's fixed. So you're just have to worry about it. So.
Now, was that something, how did you find out about this? Because I'm sure initially you're like, okay, let's go through the insurance, and then they turned you down, and then was it through
I think we looked at a bank loan initially, and then the bank's like, you need a disaster loan, SBA loan.
Okay.
So I think we coordinated through our bank, and then they set us up with SBA. And that's how it ended up being. So.
Well, one thing I always talk about too is that in business is that different connections that you can make and partners that you can have, and just the team is so instrumental. So thankfully your bank told you about the SBA disaster loans, and they were like, this is what you need to do. So that team is so important. So that's good.
Yeah, so it helped us do some restructuring, within the two companies, which was somewhat needed at the time. I mean, we're an old company, and we had tendencies to do things the old way, so it sped us up a little bit. So, you kind of have to do it by necessity, not because you have the option to. So that helped us. That helped us move through things.
Well, that is something I always look at. Okay, it's not necessarily that it's a bad thing. It's just like, oh, okay, we're going a different direction to make us even better. And it sounds like that was an opportunity there.
Yeah.
So, okay, so with the business itself, what exactly do you provide for your clients?
Sure. So we have a full retail lumberyard, building center, and hardware store. So, I guess we would be a really scaled down version of a Lowe's, to put it in simple terms.
Got it.
But we provide ourselves on customer service. That's our number one thing. When that customer hits the door, we're saying hello, we're greeting them, what do you need? That's what's kept us around so long, and that's what we're known for.
Yeah.
And then we also have the millwork side, which is the portion of the business that I operate, and that's a wholesale business.
Okay.
And we do custom millworks and trim there. So.
And this might sound crazy, but for, let's say there's a listener or a viewer that has no idea what millwork is. What exactly is millwork?
So millwork would be like your door trim and floor moldings in your home. So anything that I guess it's the beauty part of the home, I guess I would say. So it gives it the accent in the home that makes things look really sharp. So that's something that we pride ourselves in, and we try to do a good job. So that's the millwork part that people don't always think about until they need it.
Right. They're like, it's missing something. That's what it's missing.
Yes.
Now, do you do installations also?
We don't do any installation, but we have a good contractor base, and we have rapport with these contractors. And our biggest thing is, in this day and age, a lot of times it's hard to get a call back.
Yeah.
So we only partner ourselves with reputable guys, contractors that are going to call you back, going to do the job, and follow through.
Yeah.
That's what we build ourselves on, and that's what we want to carry through.
Yeah.
We don't do any installed sales, just because I think that's a whole nother avenue of business. Yeah. So we just refer to good, reputable contractors that we have, and they use us as a source for materials and supplies. And we provide them with, hey, we have customers that are, so it's a referral. It's a referral, total referral. Yeah.
Now, do you work a lot with like interior designers and home builders, things like that?
Somewhat. We do have some relationships with some architects that will spec out certain things. Worked a little bit with some designers, and then some home builders over the years. So it's we have a pretty broad base. I mean, from wholesale to commercial to residential. Yeah. So it's a pretty broad spectrum that we cover.
Do you have a favorite, like, thing, like if a client comes in, your idea, and you were like, this is what I really want to like work with you on, is there an area that you like? Or
well, it's funny because there's different types of customers. So you have your contractors that come in and they know what they want. Yeah. So they'll just say, hey, I need this, okay, and then they're out the door. But then you'll have a homeowner that will come in and doesn't know anything about anything. And then you have to educate them some. Right. So you'll spend a little more time with that customer, but I think that's more rewarding. I like the education part of it. And one thing that I've tried to do over the years is actually work with the products that we sell. So, so I can educate them and say, hey, you have to do this, or do you want to do this, or... So I do like that portion of it. It can be challenging at sometimes.
I'm sure.
Yeah, people. I say that people have an Amazon Prime mentality where they expect things in 2 days. And,
my God.
And you got to steer them from that.
Right. You're literally like, we literally have to make this. Like, no.
Right. So that can be a little challenging, but no. I mean, I like all different types of customers that we have.
Of course.
As far as any one product that I like to sell, I do like to sell the hardwood moldings and millwork. That's my favorite part. That's my area of the business. But anything that we offer, I'm happy to help somebody with.
Oh, right. So take us through, like, how did you wind up kind of like you and your brother taking over the business? Was it just like your father just passed it down, said, hey, you guys, it's time for you guys, or was it something different?
So my dad initially started in education. So he was a health and physical education teacher, a football coach. So he always had that coaching, teaching experience in his background. And then my grandfather asked him to come into the business, and so it was a big change for him. So he kind of had to learn too. So my brother is 5 years older than me, so he was in the business full time sooner than I was. Okay. And then I came in later, and our dad was really good about letting us do what we wanted to, as far as how we want to do things in the business. He was still the general manager, the operator, but he let us get our hands into it. And so my brother Terry operates, the Terry lumber side, and then I'm operating the millwork side, which is kind of how it naturally fell. Right. So my dad was always great about letting you do what you wanted to. He would tell you if you were messing. Yeah. He was telling you. He would tell you if you were messing up something. But
he's not going to let you slide.
Right.
But he's like, if you're interested in this area, then this is where we want to have you.
Right. Yeah. And as a business owner, you always kind of hold things close to the vest, and you don't want to. And he was never like that. He's like, if it's going to work, figure it out. And
that's so good.
Yeah, he was really good about that. And then unfortunately, he passed away suddenly. So we had already been more or less, my brother and I more or less have been operating the businesses. So I think there was concern when my dad passed what was going to happen with businesses, but we were able to keep things going, able to keep the same philosophy, I guess you'd say, of the
Yeah.
businesses and how we wanted to operate. So it was pretty seamless, other than you lose the main figurehead in the business.
Yeah.
And he was well regarded in the community and everything. So it was a bit of a change, but we kept things going, and it was virtually unnoticed that you know we lost the operator, I guess you'd say.
Right, because sometimes there could be a little hesitancy on clients because they're like, no,
Right.
We're used to talking to, what was your
John.
your father's name was John. Okay, we're used to talking to John Senior.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
do you know what you're doing? Was there any of that, or?
Well, we had good support staff as far as our sales staff goes. So they were dealing most, like a customer coming, they were dealing with our sales staff mostly. And my dad would help out, but he was more just operating.
Overseeing.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was, don't get me wrong, he had his customers that would only deal with him, but,
Right.
we made it work, and everybody, we moved through it, so.
Well, it sounds like what you guys had established in the community, was and still is amazing. Just from, like you said, your focus on customer service. How do you ensure that your staff implements that customer service so that you're providing that across the board?
We try to be conscientious of who we hire and who we promote within the company.
Yeah.
Our main position is at the sales counter. So we actually have one of our lead salesmen now. He grew up in the town. And when he was in high school, he came to ask my dad for a job, and he's like, "Well, you're a little young yet." But he came back to us years later, and he was actually working out in our lumber yard, and then we promoted him, and he's phenomenal with customers. He's knowledgeable. So we always try to find people that fit with what
the
we're
culture. Yes.
Yeah.
And then that translates to them, providing a great experience for the clients.
Correct.
That's great.
Yeah.
How do you source like the lumber and all, or that you use?
Sure. So there's local distributors.
Okay.
Most of the material that we source is distributed throughout Ohio.
Okay.
So a lot of it will come from West Coast, but it's all available locally.
Yeah.
Including our hardwood lumber. That's all Appalachian region, which is it's all domestic, so we don't have to worry about tariffs on that portion of it. But we are starting to see some increases with the tariffs and everything that's been going on this year. So we're starting to see that. We were a little concerned at the beginning of the year hearing all this, but it never really affected us until just a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah. So we're out of the heavy building season right now. So maybe next year it'll settle down a little bit, but hard telling.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's seasons for building.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that more when the weather's nicer, or?
Yeah, it's regionally too. So, if you're a builder in the southern United States, you can go all year long. But being here in Northeast Ohio, you can see it seasonally. Like we just got out of, we're still in deck season. We do a lot with decks. So,
are decks in the summer? Or?
Mostly in the summer.
Okay.
For construction.
Okay.
And we've had a nice fall, so it's extended, and hopefully it'll extend through November.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but once you get into, especially you get in between those holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, it kind of drops off, and then you don't pick up again until.
Is it spring or
spring usually? So you muddle through the winter months sometimes, but there's enough to keep things keep us busy.
So how does that work with the business? Because obviously, we were talking about the ups and the downs, which is natural with any business. But even with this, where the seasons do play a part, and we're in Ohio where it snows. So what do you kind of do? You switch gears and focus on kind of educating your clients to do some other things during the winter time, or how does that work?
So during the winter time, that's when most of the work moves into the home. So instead of working on the exterior, people will be working on the interior. So that's when the trim and millwork business will pick up.
Oh, so that's a great balance.
It is. It's a good balance. and so it keeps us active throughout the whole year.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's an area that I don't know a lot about, but it's really interesting that and I love how the two companies can kind of like bounce off of each other.
Right. Yes.
And the clients can stay the same. You can do your deck in the summer and then switch to us. So you need some other work done in the inside of your house,
right.
in the winter time.
Right. Yeah. So it does. It keeps us busy throughout the year.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so through the process, that you've been involved with the business, have you encountered any legal issues that came up, or that you were like, oh, I wish that we had an attorney that could have helped us with this?
I know there was a case that my dad. There's been a couple cases now that I think about it.
Which is totally normal with a business,
yeah.
especially being around for as long as yours too.
Sure, I know my dad dealt with a few small things, like small claims and things like that.
Yes.
The most recent one that I experienced, and it didn't turn into a legal issue.
Okay.
But it was trending that way. We had a customer that bought some custom porch flooring from us.
Okay.
This was probably pushing 10 years ago. And we outsourced it. We bought it from a supplier, and it wasn't milled properly. So it wasn't going together correctly. So there was installation problems. Customer was upset, and so whenever there's a problem, we always try to rectify it as quickly as we can. Right. We always put the customer first in that situation. So we tried our best to remedy it and say, okay, we'll replace it, but we need a little time because it has to be milled.
Right.
And he was
like, no, I need this today or yesterday.
Yes. So this carried on for a little while, and our vendor was involved, and we could see it. So finally, we just said, what do we got to do here to make this go away? And we found out on our insurance policy, there was something, I can't remember the name of it, but it was more or less like a nuisance policy. So if something happens where you just can't, you more or less say, hey, can you cover this? So it was more or less a financial, that was the only way that it was going to
make it work.
And we kind of washed our hands of it. He settled with it, and we were okay. But it was just one of those really stressful situations that didn't need to be stressful because it was not a huge job, but it was just like one of those things when you're getting emails on a Sunday afternoon and you don't want to deal with it.
Oh my gosh.
But it was the simplest way to make it work. I could see it trending towards legal action.
Right, and then it gets even more complicated, and then you're like, oh man, now we're facing like going to court and all these important reason why insurance is so important. And some of the small businesses that don't have insurance, and it's like an afterthought for some people, like, oh, I'll get to that later, or it's not a big deal. I treat all my clients great, they love me, they'll never do anything, but thank God you had insurance. And how did you find that clause that was in there?
I think we talked to our agent. I think we had our attorney involved, and he said this might be able to, insurance might do something.
Be able to.
So then we
that.
spoke with our insurance agent, and then he was able to find this, and we were able to make it go away.
Right.
I mean, lack of a better term, but it could have been worse.
Oh, it could. Yeah, it could have been.
But we got it. We had it handled. So.
And there it goes back to the team, and even if your attorney got involved to just offer suggestion why it's important to actually have an attorney on board with a small business that can even if you're like just quarterly or yearly consulting, just to be like, okay, are there any things I can think about or should think about with the business? But that's great that you guys had that already in place, and were able to resolve that without it being too dramatic on the business.
Yeah. So it could have been a lot worse. But we got out of it.
Yes. Now, do you do, with your vendors, do you do like contracts with your vendors at all?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
Just because it's, as needed basis. So we don't sign a contract. But
you do contracts with your clients when they're doing...
Depends, like a lot of the commercial projects we do. But residential, not so much.
Okay.
Same thing with our contractors. So that's usually between the contractor and their customer.
Yes, yeah, that makes sense. Which it's that's good that there's, because you want to differentiate that and make sure that the right person is contracting with the right person.
Right.
So you're not like liable for it. You're like, I didn't have anything to do with that. We just sold you the parts.
Yeah. And there are those instances where the contractor's customer will call us and say, what's going on? And we try to avoid that and just say, we're sourcing the material. We don't. It's between you and your contractor.
Right. Look over whatever contract you have with them, and that'll dictate. But those are interesting, differentiations that you do have to have. So that's good.
Yes.
That's good. Now, so what about have you had any poor decisions?
Oh, never. I've never had any poor decisions. They've all been great. And
I can tell.
I think poor decisions, I want to say when I was a young man and I came into the business out of college, you think you know it all.
Oh, gosh.
So I thought I think the struggle for me was just dealing with employees. And I was kind of in a management position, but I wasn't, and I was very young and had a lot of people that had seniority over me. So it was trying to find ways to give guidance, and I struggled with that for a long time. And the poor decision, I think, would be thinking that I was in charge of somebody, but I wasn't really. Not yet, anyway. So I learned over the years, I think I was trying to be too much of a boss. And so I learned over the years, you have to be an ally to the people that work for you.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, it's never going to work. And the people, I firmly believe that people make the company, not the owner.
Yes.
So, I think I've changed my tune on that over the years. I mean, being in a business for 26 years now, it's like you learn and say this person is an asset. They're not a liability. Yeah. So that younger me was, brimstone and fire, trying to get somebody
to do what you wanted them to do.
And then it's just like I've learned that if you let your people figure out how to solve a problem, how to work through it, it's so much better. It
is so much better because then they feel empowered, they feel like they're contributing, and they learn something too.
Right.
And oftentimes, I know it, just as a business owner, the employees will teach me things.
Right.
You're like, oh, I didn't even think about that, but you figured it out in a different way that I would have, and we both learned something in the process.
Correct.
Oh, that's wonderful. So now your interactions with them are, I'm sure, totally different.
Oh, yeah. And over the years, you get the right people into place, the people that you want to be, and then and that is a lot easier. I think we lost a lot of people by attrition, but when you bring in a new generation, there's always something. The millennials get this bad rap of not being productive, but
they do.
I find it, you got to work with people to learn what makes them work. So I think that's huge.
It is, yeah.
And being flexible. You got to be flexible.
Yes, because fortunately people are flexible with us. I know that I don't make all the right decisions. Right. And I appreciate people being flexible with me, so I have to extend that courtesy, to others, and employees included.
Yes.
Yeah. How many staff do you have?
Between the two companies, I believe there's 21 on the payroll.
Oh, that's a lot. And do you guys do like meetings and all? I don't know, yearly or anything to?
With our millwork facility, we meet every morning. It's just briefly. It's more of just like, hey, how's everybody doing? Unless there's something coming up, but. I can usually set the schedule at the beginning of the week. It's on cruise control from there. We'll have sales staff meeting usually a couple times a quarter, and then we try to do something with lunches or meals every now and then.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's important to us too. We need to do more of that. We don't do enough of it, but we need to do more.
Well, it definitely sounds like there's a great culture that's created here, and people feel included. They feel like their voices are being heard, and they're contributing because they want that.
Yes.
And that's why it's been successful.
Yes.
And that's a great time for us to cheers to, pouring to the great decisions that in this great business or businesses that you have. And thanks so much for being part of Pouur Decisions.
Yeah, it's an honor to be included.
Yes. And we have a Esteban Martin, Grenache and a Syrah.
Okay.
Cheers. To great business decisions and great wine.